Hurricanes require the most preparation of any weather event. For the public, it's a long duration event because there's multiple days of planning as they get warned that there's watches and stuff coming their way. Then the watches actually come in. And as the days leading up to the watches, people will start boarding up their homes, the windows to protect their homes, gathering supplies, or they just decide to evacuate. As a storm chaser, there's multiple obstacles to deal with when you're chasing a hurricane. First of all, as people are evacuating, you're going to have to deal with potentially road closings or with traffic being turned on interstates where both sides of the interstate have to go the same direction. So that maybe impede your ability to get down to where the hurricane is going to make landfall. But if you come a few days before that can get around that situation. But most of all, you don't want to be going into a disaster area there without bringing your own supplies, because you don't want to take supplies from the people that are living there and they're trying to evacuate there or are going to try and ride the storm out there. You need to be able to self-rescue and self-extricate out of that disaster zone so you're not becoming a victim and taking away from the resources that should go to the people that live in that situation. Hurricanes can be a long-duration event with multiple days of lead time, giving a storm chaser an idea of where that storm might make landfall. So it's important to go up and down the coast to find a safe spot to ride that storm out. As a storm chaser, you want to look for somewhere with high elevation so you can avoid any kind of storm surge, so your vehicle doesn't get disabled, because you need that vehicle to be able to self-rescue, self-extricate yourself out of that disaster zone. But also that vehicle likely has your supplies, your food, and your plenty of water, weeks worth of water, and lots of food. First aid kits so you can rescue yourself and rescue others. Sometimes hurricanes can sit right off the coast for hours or days before they make landfall. Also, after the storm passes, with all the damage, there may be roads blocked. You may be unable to get out of that situation because of the road closures and blockages, and there's flooding, and everything's flooded over. And so that can add again to the long duration. So that's why it's important to have the plenty of supplies. I would expect to be out there for a couple of weeks at a time. As an example of a long duration event, Hurricane Harvey in 2017 was a powerful storm that came through the Gulf of Mexico and made landfall on the Texas Gulf Coast, and it slowly moved inland into Texas, towards central Texas a little bit, very slowly for about 2 days before it then started retreating back towards the Gulf Coast, and I moved along the coast towards Houston, and that's where the storm's most damage. There were powerful winds that came ashore when the storm made landfall, but as it made its landfall again in the Houston area, it brought torrential rains for days at a time, and the worst flooding event probably in history, I believe, happened there. And that was that hurricane. That was a long duration event that lasted months at a time. There were people that were being rescued for weeks after the hurricane. People that were having to cleanup lasted months and months. And so that's why these hurricanes can be a long duration event. And it's important, even as, not just as a storm chaser, but if you live anywhere near where that hurricane may make landfall, it's important to have that food and that water, even in your home if you're going to ride it out. Even if you're not on the coast, even if you're inland, the flooding can be the most powerful and most damaging part of these storms. My whole mission when I go into these disaster zones in this dangerous situation is to document what's happening there, both for people that are at home and want to see what's happening, for that powerful image of what nature is doing out there, but also capturing the history for future generations, or that video for future people that want to see what hurricanes did in the past, and maybe they're affected their family, their lineage way down the line in the future. Maybe they'll be interested in weather and they want to see. And I used to like watching those videos when I was a kid, videos that people before me had captured weather events. And so that's what drives me. That's what gets me out there, is I want to do that. I want to be that person that captured what happened with these hurricanes.
I'll be chasing the storm here through the evening, afternoon, to the evening, and into tomorrow likely, maybe up into the Carolinas. Chasing from MyRadar, this is Storm Chaser Air Jayjack.
Follow MyRadar on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube. Download MyRadar on iOS, Android, Amazon Alexa, Xbox and Windows.